So let's analyze this expression, and now we already know that if there is a constant outside of the mod, the function will move up or down, and if there is a constant inside the mod, the graph will move left or right. So I already have that knowledge, and let's say I finally want to plot this on the number line or on the coordinate axis. So let me go step by step. Let me start with my basic mod theory, right? That starts at 0 comma 0. This is saying x minus 3. That means it will shift 3 to the right. What is the easy reference point? Put the number here. 3 minus 3 is going to give you 0, right? Look for the so put the number here, and 3 minus 3 is going to give you 0. So that is your hint or your trick or shortcut, that it will move to plus 3. That means my new graph is going to go something like this. That means 3 comma 0, right? Because the graph is only moving right. I am focusing only on this part of the story right now. I am forgetting this. Now I have made it so far. Now throw in the minus 3. I know what a plus or a minus constant does, right? It moves the graph up and down. This is going to move the graph 3 units down. So the graph will start here, where it will intersect. If this is not an accurate representation, where it is going to intersect the x-axis or the y-axis, we'll figure out in a second. But overall, the x in this story, the x value is not changing. So the x value is still going to be 3. But the overall y value, instead of 0, it is becoming minus 3. So more formally, at 3 and at minus 3, your graph is going to go and look something like this. Now, right now, if you zoom into this part, I'm saying the graph is going to cut the y-axis is this point. I'm not so sure right now, because right now I'm not using accurately measured graph paper. I'm doing a rough hand to get the concept across, right? So for a minute, just ignore the y-axis from your story. Stay with the x-axis only. We'll figure out the y-axis in a second. So what is this location? This location is 3 comma minus 3. I have removed the y-axis just to simplify the story for us for a second or two, right? Now, if I want to find the area of this triangle, this is the x-axis. The area of the triangle formed between x-axis and this expression is this region. So I need to know these 2 points, right? To figure that out, I start thinking of the slope again. The slope in this story is 1 only. And y in this story, from this point to this point, is going from minus 3 to y is equal to 0. Write it a little more formally. Y is going from minus 3 to y is equal to 0. There is a change of plus 3. That means there will be a change of plus 3 in x as well, because that's what slope means. How many units does y change if or unit change in y? I know that ratio or that variable is 1. So if y is changing by 3 units, x will also change by 3 units. But x was already 3, right? X was at 3 and you want 3 more points. So this point is going to be x is equal to 6. Because a function like mod is very symmetrical, you know this is x is equal to 3. You will go 3 points in this direction. That means this will be x is equal to 0. At x is equal to 0 is where you have the y-axis. Now it is more accurate, right? So what is the base of the triangle now? From 0 to 6. If I'm going for the half base into height formula now, half, the base is 6 and the height is going to be 3, right? This is a triangle and this is the height and this is minus 3, but the overall distance from this point and this point is 3 units. So you are done. Right, so we have already played this game, we are playing it again, but we started with a very simple story and now we are adding twists and turns, right? So now we also have a constant inside as well as outside. So now the graph is not only moving up and down, in our basic example just moved down. Now it is moving right and left as well. Of course, if I put a plus 3 here, right? And I say, okay, quickly just give me the coordinate, you do not need to make such a big graph, right? If I say mod of x plus 3 minus 3, okay, let me think about this. The normal mod would have been at x is equal to 0. A plus 3 means my story is moving to minus 3. So even at this point, a normal mod would have been like this, without this part in the equation, right? So mod x plus 3, that means just this normal mod has shifted 3 points to the left. there is a minus 3, that means everything will come 3 points down. So I'm just tracking this point. This point 3 points down is minus 3 because x is not changing and y has also become minus 3. And again it is going so. So I hope by now we already know the story. Now if I throw in a 2 here or a half here, what is going to change? So if I put a coefficient here, and this is just introducing the topic, we'll look at another example maybe in detail. But if I put a coefficient here, how will I rewrite this? I will rewrite this as 2 into x plus 1 by 2 or x minus 1 by 2, doesn't matter, and the minus 3 outside. That means the root point where that means the root for this polynomial where this becomes 0 is going to be minus 1 by 2. So for example, when you were thinking of mod of x minus 3, at x is equal to 3 you were getting a 0. So you moved it to 3, right? Similarly here, let's say if I put a minus here and a minus here, and you have a half in the story, that means the movement in the graph is going to be half towards right. If this was a plus, it would be half towards left. That means again, if this is the 0 point, if I have a plus half in the story, everything is still the same, but I have a plus half in the story, I'm moving this, the bottom point, the V junction point is moving here, right? Because of the 2, it's going to be steeper, it's going to be narrower, the line will lift faster. And because of the minus 3, I will bring it 3 points down. Again, when I'm drawing such a graph, this is not accurate, this is not the graph paper and the scale is all over the place. But so that's why again I will not get confused with the y-axis, but I do know where this point is, right? This is going to be minus half, comma, minus 3. So notice what is the similarity. Because of this minus 3, you know you are coming these 3 points down. The other point was, why do I need 3? Because I wanted to make this expression 0. To make this one 0, I will need a half or a minus half depending whether it's a plus or a minus, right? So once I figure this idea out, hopefully the next example can also be a little faster. So in fact, let's create an example where the slope is slightly different, and again let's just find the area of the triangle. So I see an expression like this, y is equal to mod of 2x minus 4 minus 4. And now again let me start with my basic mod. This is the function for a simple y is equal to mod of x, right? So let me first think about this. Let me take the 2 common, and inside I'll be left with a x minus 2. Forget about this for a second. If I put a 2 here, 2 minus 2 will give me a 0. 2 into that will give me a 0. I'm ignoring this part of the story as well. So this tells me that compared to the standard modulus function, my graph is going to move 2 units to the right. So my starting thinking point would be 2, 0. Not only that, there is a multiplication of 2. That means the slope is going to be 2. That means the curve is going to be narrower. That is just conceptually. And it is going to look pretty much the same as a standard mod function, except the narrowness of the v, right? Or the slope of the function, or how steep it appears. So I have that much. And now I have a minus 4. That means this graph is going to be pulled 4 points down. So this new location would be 2, minus 4. So this is just my rough thinking. Now let me go for a more formal pointing out. Let's say if this is x is equal to 0. First of all, I'm going to x is equal to 2. I was going 2 points to the right. And now I'm coming 4 points below. So this final location is going to be 2, minus 4. And my graph is, again let me, because my drawing is not going to be accurate. I know this is 2, minus 4, and the graph is going to be something like this. I will put the y-axis later. Once I figure out this point and this point, my drawing of the y-axis will be specific, right? I hope you have empathy for what challenges I'm dealing with, because I can draw a y-axis, but then it won't be accurate. And so remove that confusion. I'm not drawing it at all. Let's just think about where will this graph intersect the x-axis and the x-axis, and that means the overall value of the function is going to be 0. But again, of course I can do it. 0 is equal to anything on the right side of 2. This is always going to be positive, so you can just write it like this, 2x minus 4 and a minus 4. So you get a 2x minus 8. Put the minus 8 on the other side, it will become a plus 8. So x will become 4. So you know this point is going to be x is equal to 4, and of course y is going to be 0 here. But again, can I think of it from the slope point of view? Y's value when I started, this is my starting point of the journey, was minus 4. Y's value at the end is going to be 0. There is a change of plus 4. But in this story, the slope is 2. What does that mean? If x changes by 1, y changes by 2. If x changes by 3, y changes by 6. If x changes by 2, y changes by 4. That's what I wanted. So play with it enough so that it is verbalized in your story form and not a very alien concept. So if x was 2, I know the story x is 2, the new x is going to be 4. Just a plus 2. Because whatever is happening in y, half of that is happening in x. I just want to stay in terms of x, but otherwise also the other direction is also fine, right? Whatever is happening to y, half of that is going to happen to x. Why is that? Because if I write y is equal to 2x, you say slope of y according to x is 2, so slope of x according to y is half, right? So that could be another way. And again, simply using symmetry, I know this point is 2. If I'm moving 2 in this direction, I will move 2 in this direction also. So this point, oh, by luck, it is x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0 as well. That means now I can place my y-axis if I want to and put it here. Can I find the area of the triangle? Very easily. My base is from 0 to 4, so base is 4. Height is also 4. Half 4 into 4 is going to give you your overall area of the triangle. But I wasn't interested in the area. I'm interested in, am I very clear about how the graph appears? First of all, do I know input, output, and can I make any graph? Yes, I can. Then after a few observations, I saw a pattern that if there is outside up down movement, if there is something inside left right movement, because of the coefficient only the slope changes and the root point also changes, where at what location of x it is going to come down to the lowest point, that also changes. But I'm sure you're also making sense of it in your own way, and you're also, I'm sure, supplying your own intelligence as well. So you will be able to connect it all together in no time. The point being, if I see a function like this, can I get to the graph quickly, especially if the question is about the area of the triangle? Or I could have also asked you about how many integer points lie in this region. So, or even inclusive of this region, right? So you would have to count how many integers total exist in this particular triangle. But before thinking about that, how many integers, which is not a big challenge, it just sounds complicated. But before that big challenge, you need to come to this point very, very quickly, that okay, I know what are my coordinates using the basic graph function and some quick manipulation. That means I will not make a table and draw it again. I will have the starting point very quickly. That's been the overall point of this whole graph shifting theory.